into the old apartment. This is where we used to live.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of The Magic Show. This week we're going to take a look around at a little magic culture before we talk about the latest rumors and truths on Morningtide, discuss the huge new set legality change that goes into effect next February, and share with you a few new pieces of equipment that your kick-ass donations have brought to the show. You know what I find incredibly cool? Customized artwork. I feel like anything you can do beyond the cards you pull from your packs is a-okay with me. If anything, it's something I kind of miss about playing online. You're stuck with that artwork. You can never get your duels signed. You can't get your friends to sign your collection of chimney imps. But with that said, MTG Salvation has some absolutely incredible artwork threads, and here's one of them. This focuses on the card alteration practice of, quote, filling in the rest of the card with what you believe would be its potential artwork. Take a look at some of these. Just incredible, incredible work. My good buddy Richie Prophet, aka Polar Bear God, is a contributor to this medium, and I think it's just fantastic. He is a hell of a Magic player and artist, and it's great that those two can converge. These can range from the mundane to taking over the entire frame itself. I encourage everyone to get those Sharpies humming and see what fun can be had when you begin to expand the horizons of your little pieces of cardboard joy. The rumor mills have opened forth and I have some new information to share. Before we start on what will inevitably be a few weeks of Worlds coverage, let's see what's in store for the last set of Lorwyn block. Well, firstly, I have to begin with I was totally right as I highlighted the class-based play theory in the Magic Show number 63, The Secret of Lorwyn. I found and highlighted a forum poster who had it more or less right on the money. Morningtide is going to feature classes, not creature types, and so that will make you look at your creatures in both standard and limited in a whole new light. Better yet, if the powerful cards are powerful enough, who knows what extended goodness could be within our reach now that we have to account for rogues and soldiers in new ways. There will be 3 new mechanics in Morningtide, and we currently know their names and what one of them might be. They are Prowl, Reinforce, and Kinship. Let's start with what we know. Currently, Prowl is said to be a cost reducer. Take a look at this spoiled card. So a few things about this card. Firstly, being a cost-reducing mechanic, you can immediately think of Affinity, where it all went to hell in a handbasket, and Ninjutsu, which other than Ninja of the Deep Hours and Ink Eyes, didn't do a whole lot for the game. Secondly, there is only a single one-drop in Lorwyn capable of powering out this guy on turn 2, and his name is Bogart Forager, a card you may have picked up as early as 14th in your most recent draft. Thirdly, remember that Changelings are all Goblin Rogues. Sure, it's a class, but it's a type, too. Right? Maybe? Overall, I think Prowl is incredibly restrictive. Wizards has been burnt by cost-reducing mechanics so much that they either overpower them like Affinity or they suck mightily like Ninjutsu. I'm sorry, Hagure of the Still Wind is still crap. I, for one, will welcome the arrival of new ninjas in Magic, and hopefully one day we'll get them. This could also be seen as another variant of Bloodthirst, if you want to think of it that way, but for right now, Prowl looks to be a minor and somewhat cute mechanic. We'll see how far they push this as the new cards are brought to light. That said, what about reinforcing kinship? Well, reinforce is a term I recall from the now dead Versus system, which gave all of its creatures trample by default. Will this new keyword give or stop trample like it did in Versus system? Does it have something to do with the combat step, or is it just another take on kicker? Many people have pointed out that mechanics such as replicate are just interesting takes on kicker, and this one kind of sounds like something of that nature. I guess we'll see. As for kinship, who has any idea? Perhaps they'll fix banding to work the way you think it does, where all of your guys can attack and block and you can split up the combat damage any way you want. Perhaps it has something to do with pumping up your guys who share classes. Who knows? Next up is a batch of artwork that popped up online, a full 21 images of pure Morningtide bliss. Take a look at some of these beauties. Another interesting aspect of Morningtide is that it brings along a rules change that has been with us for so long I can't even remember when it began. The traditional release window has been this. The pre-release occurs 2 weeks before release. Release events occur 2 weeks before the set is legal in all constructed formats. Now you can take the last bit of the second line and simply erase it. That rule is now gone. This is absolutely huge for the average tournament player and could be incredibly impacting to those who happen to be attending a Grand Prix or larger tournament the same weekend a set is released. There are a few ways to look at this issue. Firstly, it's pretty good for Wizards. It gets people buying the set earlier, or at least thinking of investing in it earlier. Take, for example, our own Star City Games. They sell a lot of product in pre-orders before the set is released, and that is at an all-time high in the window between the pre-release when the full spoiler is online and the release itself when players can buy as many cards as they want. Now you have a situation where Friday Night Magic players could be running into Morningtide strategies on February 1st, and on the next day when your average Saturday tournament is held, there will be another glut of new cards and ideas. This means that those wanting to play with the hot new stuff will need to be overnighting orders and buying things at a premium on February 2nd, so that's definitely a good thing for business. But what of your average player? Wouldn't he suffer under the mighty hand of such a new policy? I don't think so. I always thought, if anything, it was a little odd to have the entire set spoiled and be able to buy packs and play sealed, yet you couldn't play with your new cards in actual tournaments. Some say that this will further along tournament technology, meaning cards that flew under the radar for a while, yes, such as Tarmogoyf, thanks, won't fly under there for so long. And to that I say good. This allows those who recognize greatness early to benefit the most, while the rest plays catch up. But there's another side effect to this change that many may not be aware of. Every 3 months the DCI releases its new banned and restricted list. This announcement also covers things like this new legality change, but also the announcement of newly banned cards. While it hasn't been specifically said, just imagine if a card is announced as banned on September 1st and that is now the same day in which it can never be played legally again. Why is this important? Let's go back to the wide world of 2004, where a little card named Skullclamp was Tarmogoyfing its way through the entire metagame, and I don't mean just attacking and blocking, it actively killed people and made Ravager Affinity the most ridiculous, powerful, synergistic, and deadly deck anyone has ever seen. On June 1st, 2004, Skullclamp was banned from Standard effective June 20th. On June 19th, U.S. Nationals occurred, and because it began the day before the ban, the card was legal throughout the entire event. And, of course, a deck featuring 4 Skullclamp rocked its way to the finals where Craig Crimples won with Elfin Nail. If newly banned cards are effective the day of the announcement, then this situation would have never have happened. Standard tournaments in 2004 wouldn't have been fraught with players desperately trying to get in their last few weeks of Skullclamp craziness on, and Nationals wouldn't have groaned its way to fruition with yet another deck running 4 Clamp to win the damn thing. I, for one, hope ban announcements are immediate, but I can understand where such an announcement could fall on the same Saturday in which a big event is taking place. Awkward. Either way, this change is going to be very impacting to those who enjoy the 60-card creations, and I, for one, think it kicks ass. This week we debut the announcement of Pete Heflin's latest brainchild, the $5,000 Standard Open, happening on February 23rd in Charlotte, North Carolina. This will be the defining Standard event for Morningtide, as though it will be legal on the 1st, it will take a few weeks to find the best decks. This is the tournament that will garner the attention of Magic players everywhere, as I'll be on site for live tournament reports throughout the day. That's right, you'll see me walking and talking to Magic players from all over as I bring you the latest as it's happening. As you can imagine, I'm pretty excited about it, and you'll hear more about Standard and the tournament itself as the date gets closer. But hey, live updates, how much better does it get than that? As you're watching this, I'll be in New York City covering the World Championships, and of course it's all thanks to you guys. I couldn't thank you enough for your incredible generosity. I'd like to highlight a few new toys I have in my arsenal thanks to your donations. The first is a new lightweight handheld camera. As the sheer heft of donations began pouring in, I researched my way into the best handheld for the buck. The result is the Flip Ultra Video, a handheld device that kicks some serious ass. While it won't replace my Sony camcorder for serious work, it does incredibly well for the price. This holds up to an hour of video, after which I simply flick the USB stick out of the side, copy over the files to my Mac, and I'm back at it again. Fantastic! The second is the Asden WMS-Pro wireless microphone system. As you can see and hear yourself, audio has never been my strong point. From wonky volume levels to horrible background noise, it's time we rectified that. This is another steal at only $150 to give me both a lapel mic and a handheld mic for interviews. I can't wait to try this one out. Lastly, I'd like to thank my buddy Ruben Bressler for providing me a place to stay in New York and you guys for providing me the plane to get me there. I'll only be in New York City from Friday until Monday morning, but you can bet I'll make the most of it. From a full day of tournament coverage to the biggest Sunday in Magic, I'll be right in the thick of it, once again with behind-the-scenes access to the biggest names in Magic. On Saturday, December 8th, me and Tom Lapille will be hosting a Saturday night cube draft. My cube will be there and so will Tom's, so get yours ready and bring it because we're going to be pounding the cardboard all evening. The event is open until 11:45 at night and then the fun moves to neutral ground, which is thankfully open all night. Cube till you drop, baby! So if you see me, say hello, and I hope my journey will be as fulfilling as I think it will. I'm sure you'll dig the results. Until next time, Magic players, when the fruits of your labor are revealed, this is Evan Irwin tapping the cards so you don't have to.